Picture yourself going through the steps rather than the end goal only. Some people only think about the end goal. What I'm encouraging you to do is think about the end goal and visualize yourself going through the steps. Action. Because what this does is it eliminates the excuses that you will probably use not to take action. Oh, I don't have any laundry ready, so I can't go. I don't know where a sneaker is, or I can't find this, or I can't find that, or I'm too lazy to go look for it. Okay, so this is very important. You want to set yourself up for success. You know, so you need to be able to distinguish whether you're working towards your true goals. This is very, very, very important. Or are you working off of the expectation for other people, of other people? So how do you identify what you actually want versus what maybe somebody else wants from you? And today is going to be a powerful, powerful topic. Now, I know I say that all the time. Hey, today is going to be awesome. Today is going to be powerful. But really, today is going to shift some people's lives. I'm fixing to shape some people's lives. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen today. So if you have a team member that you think should be on today's call, or you have a guest, or you have someone that you invited to be on today's call and you don't see their name in the chat box, you want to reach out to them and get them on today's call, because it's going to be altering, life altering. I promise you that. All right. So let us jump right into it. I got a few slides that I want to share. So let me share my screen and get that going with you. You know, you see that guy there pulling himself? Many people feel like that every day when they need to get up and action their dream, when they need to actualize their purpose in life. They have to drag themselves. So how do you get yourself to take action? Because here's the deal. Sometimes it's just you and you. There's no one there to say, hey, you know, give that kick in the butt. Let's say, hey, let's get the job done. Sometimes it's just you and you alone. And how are you going to get yourself to take the action that you need to get your goals and dreams accomplished, whatever that might be in any area of your life? Your faith, your family, your fitness, your health, your business, any area. How are you going to get yourself to take action to get to your goals and your dreams? All right, I have some ideas for you. Let me give them to you. Are you ready? First one, visualize yourself going through the steps. Here's the challenge. People, most of the time, they visualize themselves crushing the goal, right? They think of themselves, they imagine themselves succeeding, and they think that that's going to motivate them to do what they need to do. For some people, when they visualize crossing the finish line, let's say in a race, or getting that next promotion, for example, for some people, it does more harm than good. Why? Because when they imagine themselves getting the reward or getting the promotion or crossing the finish line, what they're doing is their brain is reacting as if they already achieved their goal. And what happens is then their motivation starts to drop, right? So they unintentionally drop their motivation, and then they don't put in the hard work. So what I'm saying, if you're one of those people, rather than thinking about crossing the finish line, what you need to imagine is yourself running the race. Picture yourself tolerating the distress. Picture yourself getting tired and how you're feeling and what you're going to do to overcome that. Picture yourself actually in the race. And then you're more likely going to succeed. You're more likely going to hit your goal. Picture yourself going through the steps rather than the end goal only. Some people only think about the end goal. What I'm encouraging you to do is think about the end goal and visualize yourself going through the steps. If you need to make a phone call, for example, and you're a little bit nervous to make that phone call, let's say to a business partner or, to a client of yours, and you're a little bit nervous to make that call, many people, they think about the person doing business with them or the person buying a product or service from them. Instead of doing that, think about you going through the steps of that phone call. Think about what you're going to be saying and the conversation. Visualize the conversation going the direction that you imagine, right? The direction that you want. So visualize the steps rather than only the big picture. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Does that make sense? I want to know that you're engaged, right? So let's be engaged today. If that makes sense, yes or yes. Just give me a yes in the chat box or a Y, right? Everybody can find the Y button. It's right beside the T, in between the T and the U, okay? Look on your keyboard. It's in the middle of the T and the U. All right, does it make sense? All right, awesome. I want to know that you're there, right? I want to talk with you today. I don't want to talk at you. I want to talk with you today. Okay, so visualize yourself going through the steps rather than only thinking about the end goal. And maybe one day we'll do an entire talk. This is about a 2-hour talk on visualization. I came to the realization most people don't know how to visualize. Visualization is an art and a science to it. And you can learn how to visualize the things that you want, right? Now, I'm not talking about hocus pocus magic and it's going to, out of thin air, pull things into your life. No. It doesn't work like that. Visualization without action doesn't work. But you got to visualize yourself taking the action. And there's also a component to that where while you're visualizing yourself taking the action, you want to visualize yourself being confident. You want to visualize yourself not having fear, not being reluctant, not feeling like you don't want to do it. You want to visualize yourself enjoying it, loving it, having fun doing it, and confident while you're doing it. This is so powerful, right? This one step alone here can get you to do the things that you don't want to do if you do it correctly. You have to do it correctly. Second one, set yourself up for success. What do I mean when I say set yourself up for success? Let's say that you want to have a habit of running every single morning. Every morning, you say to yourself, I'm going to go for a jog. But you find it's very difficult to get yourself up to go for the jog, right? No matter what you do, you keep pressing snooze. And then by the time you get out of your bed, it's too late and you figure, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And it never gets done. How can you set yourself up for success? Well, the first thing that you need to do is do whatever you can to make the habit easier. This is key right here. When you want to create a new habit, do whatever it takes to make the habit easier. So if you wanted to go for a run, for example, what could you do to make it easier? You could leave your sneakers right next to the bed. When you wake up, you see the sneakers right there. You could have your outfit ready the night before. So you just need to jump in and put on your outfit, put on your sneakers. They're right there. You don't have to look for an outfit. You don't have to look for your sneakers. What the goal is here is to remove any and all obstacles that's going to prevent you from doing it. Anything that's going to stop you from doing it, you want to think about that ahead of time and remove it prior to the time that you're going to take action. Because what this does is it eliminates the excuses that you will probably use not to take action. Oh, I don't have any laundry ready, so I can't go. I don't know where a sneaker is, or I can't find this, or I can't find that, or I'm too lazy to go look for it. Okay, so this is very important. You want to set yourself up for success. If it's a book that you want to read, put the book where you're going to see it, right? Put the book there on the nightstand, so before you go to bed, you're going to be able to read it. Take away all excuses for not actioning the item. All right, does that make sense? Yes or yes? Yes or yes. All right, there we go. Awesome. Next, you want to establish a now deadline. A now deadline. What is a now deadline? You see, in our brain, we tend to categorize the tasks into two categories, now or later. You don't even know you're doing it. It just happens automatically, right? A task comes into your mind and you're gonna think, I'm gonna do it now or I'm gonna do it later, right? It's automatic. So here's the thing. When we categorize something as a later deadline, when we say later in our mind, guess what we do? We put it off. Habitually, we tend to put it off. And our brains don't always categorize things in a logical manner. It's just the way that it is, right? So let's say that today's Monday, and let's say that you have a report due at the end of the month, on the last day of the month, which is Wednesday, right? Let's say Wednesday. So November 30th, you have a report due. It's the last day of the month. And what's going to happen? Because the Wednesday falls on the last day of the month, your brain will more likely categorize this in the now deadline. Okay. But let's say the Wednesday falls on the first day of the month, right? So let's say the Wednesday was the first instead. Your brain is more likely going to categorize this deadline as a task you can do later because it falls on the new month, right? So understanding how your brain categorizes things, again, everyone's a little bit different. You got to understand which bucket your brain is going to put the task in. Is it putting it in the now category or is it putting it in the later category, right? So you got to prevent your brain from encouraging you to procrastinate by, putting different objectives, small objectives, so that you can start doing the things now. You create small objectives so you can start doing the items now. You break it down. There's a great book called How to Eat an Elephant. And basically the essence is you break things down into small chunks. Things that you can do right now, right? When someone sets a goal, let's say I'm coaching you and you set a goal with me, right? Let's say you set a goal, an income goal, for example. Let's say that you set an income goal of $5,000 per month, or $6,000 per month, or $10,000 per month, or whatever it is, right? You set an income goal. The first thing that I look for is, did this person do something right now to action that decision? Because if the person doesn't take action immediately, like right away, immediately, more than likely, they're not going to take action at all. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you need to write a 10-page report. The long report, right? You got to write it. And instead of telling yourself that you have to write a 10-page report and it's due on November 1st, what do? You commit yourself to writing some every single day, right? You set aside some time. Maybe it's a 30 minutes you've set aside every day to action that. Right? And instead of thinking, okay, my goal is to do 10 pages by November 1st or December 1st, sorry, right? You think, okay, my goal today is to write a page. My goal today is to write 2 pages. My goal by Friday is to write 3 pages. And you turn this into a now deadline. You know, Divine put in the post there in the chat, the 5-second miracle. Your brain, if you don't take action within 5 seconds, more than likely it's not going to take action at all. It's not going to take action at all, right? So if I say, for example, I'll give you a quick example. Let's say that I say I'm going to call somebody. What's an immediate action I can take? I put it in my calendar. Let's say I can't call him. It's 8:41 right now. And I make a decision. I'm going to call Bob tomorrow at 3:00. What's an action item I can do? I can put it in my calendar. I can put it in my calendar immediately, right? Boom, 3:00 tomorrow as an item in my to-do list, in my calendar. Your brain is going to be more motivated to tackle that task. Make sense? You need to action every single decision that you make. You need to action it within 5 seconds. Do something that solidifies that task that you are supposed to take, that action item. All right. Is that making sense? Give me a Y or there's no N. Okay. Nobody should be giving me an N. if it's not making sense for you, let's have a separate meeting. Okay. We'll have a separate call. Awesome. Thank you, Paul, Steve, Zachary. Awesome. Here's one that's very big. You got to identify your motivators. Okay. You got to identify your motivators. You see, sometimes the simple, answer, sometimes the answer to this question, this simple question, this big question is, what's stopping me from taking action? What's preventing me from taking action? Okay, that's a good question. Okay, that's a good question. Maybe you need to contemplate what's preventing me from taking action. Maybe you don't really want this goal. Maybe it's not your real goal. I'm sorry if I'm offending you, right? But maybe it's not the goal that you really want. Maybe you want that goal, but it's not your motivating goal. You get what I'm saying? Maybe it's just something that you think you should do or you should want. Worse, it could be somebody else's dream. So you need to be able to distinguish whether you're working towards your true goals. This is very, very, very important. Or are you working off of the expectation for other people, of other people? So how do you identify what you actually want versus what maybe somebody else wants from you? Here's what you should start with. You should start by looking at your intrinsic motivators versus your extrinsic motivators. Let's start with intrinsic motivators. What are intrinsic motivators? Intrinsic motivators, it means you're pursuing the goals based on internal factors. Intrinsic means internal, inside, right? So what I'm talking about is those heartfelt desires that are deep down inside of your gut. This is what drives self-motivation. When you hear someone that's self-motivated, they were driven by intrinsic motivators. Okay, so these actions, they look for rewards that are naturally satisfying. The key word here is naturally satisfying. Let me give you an example. The person is playing the sport, let's say soccer, because it's fun. They enjoy it. They love to enjoy it. They're not doing it to win an award. I visited Quebec, and I think the day I came in, Henry, our good friend Henry, if you're in the thing here, just say a hi in the chat box. Henry, he was back from soccer, right? They have this soccer league, and at that night at the house, their friends were talking about soccer, and you could tell he was playing the sport because it was fun, right? Every time he talked about it, it was because it was fun, it was enjoyable. He wasn't doing it because he wanted to win something. He wanted to win an award. He was doing it because he enjoyed it, right? So that's intrinsic. Another one, learning a new language because you like experiencing new things. So you're not learning the new language because your job requires you to do it. See, the job would make it extrinsic, but you doing it because you want to experience new things, that makes it intrinsic, right? So you got to be very careful what's motivating you. The next is extrinsic motivators. Extrinsic motivators are based on external factors. This is when you pursue something because it has an external reward, like money, that's extrinsic. Status, that's extrinsic. Praise, that's extrinsic, right? You do something because you want someone to praise you, or you want to be famous. Okay, maybe you want to. An example could be getting that promotion. That's extrinsic. Graduating from school, that's extrinsic. Approving your appearance to please some other people, that's extrinsic. You got to determine. I'm not saying one is good and one is bad. All right, this is not my argument today. My argument is you got to identify what is motivating you. Most people don't know what motivates them. The donkey is chasing the carrot, and I put that there because many people They don't know what motivates them, but yet their employer knows how to motivate them. The employer takes a stick and he puts something on the end called a salary, and people chase this salary even though they don't want to do it, even though they hate their job, they hate it with their guts, they hate their boss, they still show up. I remember this guy, he was showing up every day to the workplace and he was swearing, screw this, F word this, F bomb that. And every day he's swearing. And one day I'm like, why do you punish yourself to show up every day if you hate it? Right? And he's like, what else am I going to do? And at that moment, I realized that the employer figured out how to motivate him. He doesn't know how to motivate himself, but the employer figured out exactly how to motivate him and put the carrot, which they call a salary, right in front of him, and he just keeps chasing it. But that donkey will never catch the carrot, right? It'll never catch the carrot. So it's very important that you figure out what motivates you, because if you don't, someone already has figured out what motivates you, and they know how to pull your strings. They know how to get you to go in whatever direction you want to go. Even though you don't want to go, you still will go because they've figured it out. So it's important that you figure it out. Next, set goals. What does it mean to take action? When you shift from dreaming to doing, I would write that down. Shifting from dreaming to doing. That's what it means to take action. You see, you can daydream all you want. Daydreaming about your goals won't get you results unless you start making some sort of consistent effort, right? You got to engage the logical part of your brain to plan and to organize, not just the creative dreaming part, right? Here's one of the things that I do that helps me out, and I'll share it with you. It's make a to-do list. Make a to-do list. When I'm the most productive, I'm working off of a to-do list. So what that does is it makes sure that I don't forget, because I keep that to-do list in front of me, and I put deadlines beside each item that I need to accomplish. And I make sure that I have flexibility, because things change, right? You don't want to make it too tight where, things start falling off and then nothing gets done. And then what you got to do is commit to working through that plan. So you plan and then you execute the plan, right? A to-do list is a wonderful, wonderful tool. If you haven't used that, you should. All right. Last one, home stretch. Are these making sense to you? Yes or yes? Are we still here? Did I blow anyone out of the water? Did I blow anyone away? Do I still have your attention? All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Last one is cultivating grit. Okay, if you want to be successful, you can't depend on your talent only. The challenge that many people have is they're talented, but they don't do anything with the talent. And there's a wonderful story in the Bible about what happens to the guy that buried his 2 talents, right? He had to give it to the one that doubled theirs. So you can't depend on your talent only. You need the right combination of passion and persistence. Write this down. Passion plus persistence equals grit. When I say cultivate grit, I'm talking about passion and persistence. It needs both. Passion plus persistence equals grit. And you got to figure out how to cultivate the right balance of grit that will keep you going. You see, when you take action to start on a project or a goal, grit is what's going to keep you going through it. Grit is what's going to pull you through it so you can see it through. One thing about high achievers is they have the grit to face the obstacles and keep going and overcoming whatever challenges come along their way. They're able to keep going. And every person can develop this kind of resilience, this kind of mental toughness, which is powerful, powerful, and is needed for you to achieve your goals and your dreams. So you got to let go of any limiting beliefs that you have and start working towards your achievement. Start working towards the things that you set out to do. Listen to me. I didn't say it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. All right. It's not going to be easy. But if you would take care of these characteristics of grit, like you would nurture them, like a mother nurtures a child, and you would nurture them, you would stay on course. And I'm telling you, it's going to be so powerful. It's going to help you to stay strong when you're in the face of pain, when you're in the face of fear, or when you're in the face of grief. You know, people underestimate how courageous and resilient they can be. They underestimate until they're pulled into a situation. It's going to help you to stay the course. You're going to be confident. You're going to have commitment. You're going to have optimism. You're going to be striving for excellence. And you will be able to stay in difficult situations so you can achieve your long-term goals and your long-term success. You see, here's the deal. Many people don't have what I call staying power, right? It's another way of saying grit, the passion and perseverance. And that's what's required to see you through those difficult situations. Hey, financial independence is a long-term goal, and it requires grit to become financially independent. It requires grit to become successful, right? You want to move up the ladder, it requires grit.